I hope everyone is having a great one today. I have not been watching any videos, so I have no clue what's going on in this drama circle. And I myself am not going to be doing any videos at all about behaviors this week that surround this circle. So I just I needed to take a break from that. And so I'm going to be doing other things. One of the things that I'm going to be doing, I already said I was going to be talking about a vlogger, okay? And I wasn't sure what kind of reaction I was going to get when I did this. And I'm going to go ahead and do it. And I have my reasons for doing this. And I'm also going to, this week, I am going to still I might do a few cooking videos, and maybe a few cheesy craft videos, I don't know. I'm going to try to get to the fire bowl. We're going to get some high temps again. I wanted to try to get it done. I don't know if you can tell by my voice, but I don't know if I'm coming down with something or if it's just a sinus crud and allergies all mixed together. I'm not feeling the greatest today, but I got to still keep trucking. It is what it is. Stuff needs to get done, and I'm off today, but I'm not going to be tomorrow, so just got to keep going. But and I am going to do also this week, hopefully, because I talked about those giveaways. I want to show what I'm talking about and also explain more in details something else I'm going to be doing. It will all come together when I do those videos, and you'll know more about what I'm talking about, because I confuse myself. So I'm sure that I'm confusing other people. But back to this vlogger. I know a creator put out a video a little while back about this person, and I ran across her videos. It came across my feed even before that, and I watched some of her videos. And she is somebody that is pregnant. I know some people want to say that she might not be, but in my opinion, she absolutely is. And it's pretty clear that she has some issues, okay? And she is vlogging her life and putting it out there on social media on, what has happened in the past, what she's going through now. And she's living in a car. She's homeless. And the reason that I'm going to talk about or do a little series on her, she does videos, several times a day and puts it out there. In my opinion, you have to be really careful around this person. She makes a lot of accusations, okay, against everybody that is close to her, that comes in contact with her, and they're very serious accusations. Some of the things that she puts out there on social media is pretty awful. Pretty awful. I only caught one of her lives, okay? I'll always have to see the replay. And you have a lot of people. Now, I do want to say that there's some creators I believe are just, they're covering her to make money or to make fun of her. I absolutely am not going to be doing that. And you have, like I said, I caught just one of her live videos. And she does turn off the comments when you do watch the replay. On her community post, you can make comments there. Now you have people in different categories when it comes to this vlogger. You have people that just do not believe her at all, nothing, and they're just, in my opinion, trolling her. You have people that, you know, are making fun of her. You have people that are calling her out on, you know, that she's lying and doing this and doing that. You have other people that are telling her to, you know, basically off herself. You have some that are reaching out to her, trying to help her. And they're trying to give her resources. You know, you can go here and there, you know, to get resources to help yourself and your baby. Now, the thing is with this woman, she does not want resources, okay? She's made it clear that she, you know, might have looked at different resources. She does not want anybody, and she will tell you off, or she'll say that anybody that reaches out to her and says, you know, why don't you try, you know, to go here or go there, they will help you. She will call you the most awful things, okay? She does not want to look for resources. She wants things given to her, okay? When it comes to housing, a place to live, food, money, whatever, she thinks that she is deserved, okay? She thinks that everybody, the government, her family, even strangers, that she deserves to be this. Everything's, let me rephrase this. People owe her this. It's a right that, you know, she doesn't have to work. She is on disability, she says, for mental, but yet she's not mental, okay? There's nothing wrong with her. Everybody else has the issue. And she's made it clear that she's not going to work for this baby, okay? She shouldn't have to. Everybody else owes her. So I've seen people that have, in comment, have reached out and they have offered up their homes. And that kind of, you know, it's scary with this person because she has made accusations. Horrible accusations, in my opinion. When I do my series, I'm going to go over why I believe that they're all false. And they're very serious and can put people in prison for a very long time. So, like I said, some people really feel bad for her, and they feel bad for this baby. And I think they're really worried about this baby, rightfully so, from some of the things that she has put out there. So they have offered for her to come live with them. And these are females, because they really feel bad. And people have to really be careful on this woman. So this comes to why I'm doing this video. We're going to talk about real life and what I'm going through. Because, you know, we have compassion. We should, right? We have empathy. And when someone's going through a hard time, we want to open up our homes sometimes, right? Especially if it's a family or friend. I mean, this is a stranger that people are offering up their homes. But if it's a family or friend and they're struggling, you know, maybe they're going through a divorce or lost their job, or maybe, you know, they end up pregnant, single mom, you know, whatever the case may be, and you offer up your home and you don't think twice about it, right? Wrong. You really have to think. Even with friends, even with family, and that's a shame. I mean, I would never think twice. I've offered up my home to a few friends in my lifetime that were struggling. I also did, I think I've stated it before in some of my videos, I did with my son's friends as teenagers. They were going through things with their parents, and I made sure that they were going to school. They had clothes, they had food. I didn't ask for any money from their parents. I didn't get any money from the state to help take care of them. I supported them solely myself, including, you know, my son, my youngest son, was the only one that was still at home, but I was supporting him as well. And I did this on my own. But, we have to be careful. So I'm going to share my story and what I've been going through for almost a year now. And it's really came ahead, to a head over the weekend. And even though I wasn't directly involved, it wasn't my home, I'm really involved. Really involved. So I said on my little fishing at the lake that I had a productive, productive weekend or productive week. I kind of did. But I was tired. I was tired. I had to go over to my friend's house, and I was cutting his grass. And the grass hasn't been cut for over a month, so you can imagine, even though I was on a ride-on, even after it got cut, it looked like you needed to go over it. So we're going to start from the beginning. And on top of, my own life and my own home and, my own work and, doing this here and there, this is what I've been dealing with. And this is why you got to be careful on when you open your home to others. And that's why I'm doing this video. It kind of goes with, this vlogger, because a lot of people are reaching out to her to open up their homes. And while I'm kind of telling my story and what I am going through, and I did say as well that, some people want to put their personal information out there on social media, and you just got to be careful and, on what you do. And, people are like an open book, and I'm really, in real life, I'm an open book, to my family and friends, not so much on social media. I might put little things out here and there, but I'm just doing this to kind of break up, this drama stuff, as well as maybe an awareness, just to be very careful when you open up your home to, I'm going to say, especially friends, don't, be a total jerk and not be helpful. But then also, it's going to be an opening to the series that I'm getting into with this vlogger. So, with further ado, we're going to get in, because this is going to probably be a long video. And I do apologize if I repeat myself. Again, that medication is horrible. I'm still on it. I have not weaned myself off of it or even spoke to my doctor yet about getting off of it. So, we're going to go ahead and dig right in. So I have been friends with a male for, well, since I was 16. We're still friends. And he was inherited a house, his childhood home, when his father passed away. And this house is out in the country. It's about maybe 10 minutes from me. I live on the edge of town. And it's about 10 minutes away. And it's a 4-bedroom home. It's actually in a different town, but like I said, I live on the edge of town. It's a very small town, and it sits on almost an acre, 4-bedroom Cape Cod home. And it, it needs some updates. His father had dementia there at the end of his life, but it's still, a very nice home. And the home was completely paid off by his father. So when he was inherited the home, all he had to do is worry about updating this home. Oh, I just hit the volume button. Sorry about that. You didn't get to see the beach there. But he had somebody that he knew for a few years that he worked with, and they needed a place to stay. Okay, and it was him and his girlfriend. But at the time, the girlfriend was introduced as a wife. And my friend was just, recently divorced. Okay, And his father didn't pass that long ago. So moving back into his childhood home was kind of new to him. So he told the people that they could move in. Now, this was back in August. So we're coming, almost a year, that they could rent a room. Like I said, 4-bedroom home. Rent a room, a downstairs bedroom, 2 rooms up, 2 rooms down, that they could rent a room, and that they could stay until spring. That would give them time to get on their feet. And they could rent it for $350 a month. That, included all the utilities and everything. That's pretty cheap. Houses out in that area for a house goes for, 1,500 up. Being in that area, that location, very quiet. Just to rent a room, though, wouldn't go that high, of course, but they had free reign of everything except the upstairs. Okay, the upstairs was there was only 2 bedrooms upstairs, and it was his bedroom and the other room, and he kept those locked because his father, he didn't even go through all of his father's stuff. He had his grandfather's and father's stuff up there. A lot of it was collectibles, antiques, still in boxes that he has not had time to go through. Some of it he did go through. There was a lot of coins. His father was in the military. He was in the Marines. So there was a lot of memorabilia up there. His father had muscle cars in his lifetime. So, there was little tiny replicas, and his father, rode motorcycles. So there was a lot of antiques up there, as well as a lot of pottery from his grandparents, stuff like that. So that was in the other room. And he still had a lot of things that he didn't go through yet. So anyways, they had full reign of the house, full reign of the garage. The garage, he had a pool table on one side of the bay. It was a 2-car garage. There was a breezeway in the middle. They had full range of the whole outside. They had a fire pit out there. And then on the other side, my friend had 2 Harleys. And both of them were very nice. He took them to shows, okay? Those shows where he won, trophies from the paint job and the chrome and all that good stuff. So they had free reign of everything, and being out in the country, you blast your music. Now, even though it was out in the country and almost on an acre, the acreage was long, okay, not wide. It was long. So his neighbors were still kind of close, and each neighbor on either side of him, they had small children, okay? So that's going to be important for this story a little bit later. So the deal was that they would move in, pay the $350 a month. That included everything. And we are going to call his friend, I'm not going to try to cuss. I might a little bit. We're going to call him the jerk. Okay? He's going to be called the jerk. The jerk and my friend, they were in construction. Okay? And they worked for him. We're going to call him the boss man. I'm going to be very careful not to say names. The boss man was a mutual friend of both of theirs, and has been for 15, 16 years. He's the one that kind of set them up with this living arrangement. He told my friend, hey, him and his old lady, they're kind of homeless. They have no place to go. You have this big house, and, he works for us, blah, blah, blah. So that kind of set all this in motion. So the house, like I said, needed some updates. It was built in the 50s, and I've already mentioned his dad having dementia. So the agreement was also that, the jerk would be helping do some repairs around the house. And, if stuff needed done around the house, that they would do stuff. The woman would help keep it clean, you know, because she was on disability. For what? I have no idea. Physically, she's fine. She even said she physically had nothing wrong with her but a little arthritis in her hands. Um, but who knows? Have no clue, don't care. Um, and he, like I said, they got 1099, so they had to do their own taxes. But he never did his taxes because he owed a lot of money in child support. I didn't know this until later on. But just saying, they had to do their own taxes because they were subcontractors, right? So he was supposed to do work around, you know, with improvement on the home. Um, so they moved in. Okay, everything was fine. August, they paid. She kept the home clean. September, they paid. The problem started in October. October, they did not pay the full amount of the 350. I think they paid like 200. Now, I have to put this out there. It was a verbal agreement, okay? That's very important, guys. Verbal. But even verbal, it still sticks, but it was even verbal. Or it was verbal. So, and normally when you do a verbal, like verbal lease, since there was no written agreement, then it would automatically go month to month, right? At least it does in my state. It still sticks. It's still legal. It's just you should get everything in writing. This is a lesson learned. So in October is when they started just not paying the full amount, and I have to say that my friend started feeling uncomfortable staying in his own home from day one, from them moving in, because the female in the home was making the jerk, trying to make the jerk jealous any way she can. Okay, she even told me that he's a very jealous man. Now he's a big guy, okay, a big guy, and my friend is, you know, a smaller man, and the jerk, it looks very intimidating. All right, so she would tell me that he's very jealous, and she would try to make him jealous, and in those ways she would ask my friend to take her for a ride on his motorcycle, knowing that it would make the jerk jealous and upset and mad. And, you know, my friend wouldn't do that because he's like, no, I'm not going to do that. But she would say it in front of her boyfriend. Her boyfriend, and then she would also, she would say inappropriate things to my friend, like a girlfriend wouldn't say, you know, that had a boyfriend, like, oh, your ass looks good in them jeans, and just stuff like that, trying to make, to cause a situation. He did not feel comfortable being in his home. So, and he didn't know her at all. Like I said, there was a lie already told. It was said that it was his wife. To come find out, it was his girlfriend, and they were dating for only like maybe 5 months at this time, and she was still married to another man. Didn't know this information, had no clue. So she was making it uncomfortable, and he also noticed that when they first moved in, when he would leave, I'm sorry, not when he would leave, but when he pulled up, when he would pull up to his home, my friend, when the jerk, they would be like passing each other. And if the jerk would see that he was pulling up to his house, he would whip his vehicle back around and go back home because he didn't want my friend being at the house with his old lady at the house. He didn't want them home alone. So it was a very uncomfortable situation. So my friend asked about staying at my home. Okay. So he was basically not comfortable at his own house. So he has been staying at my home since, I would say, within a few weeks of them moving in. So, what? They moved in August. So maybe the 1st of September. He's been staying at my home. So basically kind of forced out of his own house, okay? He would only go over there to cut the grass because they would not cut the grass at all. He would go over there to get his mail. He would go over there to, check on things, maybe to shoot a game of pool or whatever, just to kind of, get a break. Go over there and check on things. And that's about it. He would never go over there to be alone with her. He didn't feel comfortable. And so that's how it was. And that $350 a month, that just covered the utilities. And it would barely cover the utilities. They didn't have a water bill because there was a well there. So it was basically just the gas, electric, and garbage, because there was no satellite or anything like that over there, because my friend works a lot, so he really didn't have time to watch TV. He had a smart TV, so I don't know, he could watch, I don't know, with the smart TV you can watch some things, and with the antenna, and just get local whatever. So so like I said, he's been over at my place, which I have no problem with. But it's kind of sad that you feel so uncomfortable that you have to leave your own home for your roommates to take over. When I mean take over, they absolutely took over. Before he even left the home, though, he was gone to work, and I have to say, and I know I might be backtracking, and I do apologize, and I'm trying to remember everything as it unfolded. And there's been a lot. There's been so much. But before he came to my home, he was gone. I forgot what he did. I think he was gone for the weekend. He went riding with some buddies, and they went camping or something. I'm not sure what it was. And when he got back, his house was full. And what I mean by full was woodworking stuff. The jerk would take trees, and he would make like dressers and tables out of wood. Very talented, okay? I have to give him that. But he would make big furniture, benches, and like I said, tables and chairs and all of this stuff. So what he did when my friend was gone for the weekend is he had all this stuff stored at somebody's barn, and he also had a Harley as well that was non-running, okay? Something that you're never going to get running again. And he was storing it in a barn, I guess, and this person is like, you got to get this stuff out of here. They didn't want it in their barn. And he brought it to my friend's house without asking for permission. Remember, they were renting a room. That was it. So when he got back, his garage was full of this stuff. You couldn't even walk around, okay? It was oh goodness. So I might have to make a part 2 of this. I'm having to splice videos, 2 videos together. I might have to make a part 2 because I can only edit what I'm doing, how I'm editing. Sorry. I'm just doing it with my phone and my gallery, so I can only edit like 90 minutes worth of video or whatever. So I'm going to try to go longer, but my TV, I had it on pause on something, and it just, whatever. Anyways, he went on, he had all this stuff at his house, okay? He comes home and all this stuff is there. You can't move in the garage. His other Harley stuff is leaning up against it. The breezeway is full of the stuff. The living room is full of the stuff. And like I said, they're supposed to be renting a room, okay? Not a storage unit, not to do all the, whatever. So, anyways, he doesn't say anything to him because he's not someone to confront people. Me, I would, at that point, I would have been saying, no, this wasn't the agreement. You need to get a storage unit. You need to get something. You couldn't even play pool anymore because there was so much junk there. And, we would go over there and play pool at times, even me and my girlfriends would go over there and play some pool. So you just, and then sit by the fire or whatever, and you couldn't maneuver around the pool table. So he got away with that. So basically what they were doing is they were taking over the house. Besides the upstairs, they were taking over the whole house. Plus they weren't paying when they were supposed to be paying. And this just went on and on and on. And so on top of that, the jerk, okay, he also has a lifetime suspension of his license. He is a felon, found out that later. And he had guns in the house. You're not supposed to have guns in the house if you're a convicted felon, right? So, and he was making threats to my friend when he'd come over there. I'm going to kick your ass. If my friend would tell him, where's the money? I got to pay the utility bills. These are your bills. It's getting ready to get disconnected. If it's not paid, he would get nasty with him. And this just went on and on and on. And, it got to the point where they were getting behind and, behind. They would give, like, 1 month they gave $50. That was it. Like I said, she was getting disability. He was working, but in October, like around the end of October, that boss man, you're going to hear me talk about the boss man because he's kind of important. That boss man ended up firing the jerk because the jerk put a door on upside down. And it cost him a contract with the company. Now, boss man, I don't know if I said this before, he's a drunk. And he sits on his butt at home and he sends off these people to do the work and he's never there, okay? Not how you run a business. So, anyways, he even took the money out of my friend's pay for this door because he had to purchase it over. I don't know why. My friend didn't even work on that door. That he worked on the windows, right? And his excuse was, I was there, I heard it. Well, you should have been watching the jerk and made sure that he put the door on right. Huh? Okay. My friend's not his babysitter. And the jerk worked for him, longer than my friend did, but, okay, whatever. And my friend didn't stand up for himself either and didn't say, hey, I'm not his babysitter. This isn't how it works. This isn't how a construction company works. You don't get penalized. They didn't work as a team, okay? It wasn't like they were a team, okay? They had a different thing that they did, and they got paid. And my friend did the windows, and the jerk does the doors, okay? So anyways, my friend let that go, but the jerk got fired, so he didn't have a job anymore. And he wouldn't go out and get any work. He was living off his woman's disability money, and she only made $800 a month. But they decided, and I even told them, when winter hits, your utility bills, the gas bill is going to be a lot higher. You're going to have to figure something out. And they didn't. So this just continued to go on and on. And he was doing his woodworking in the garage. The neighbors were complaining because it was loud and he would have the music blaring. And they just, they had cars coming in and out constantly. And the boss man said at that time when he fired him, he must be using again. So at that time, I already knew something was off with both of them. The way that they were acting, that they were on something. And my friend's like, no, I don't think so. And it's like, yeah, I think so. Something is off with them. And then when the boss man said he must be using again, I looked at him and I said, are you kidding me? What is he on? Or what was he using? He goes, oh, meth. I said, and you didn't disclose that to my friend? He's been a good friend of yours and you didn't disclose that to him? Seriously? And he's like, well, I didn't think it was important. Okay, then. A good friend you are. So, anyways, the girlfriend, she even told me that the jerk would be out in the garage doing his woodworking all night long and up during the day. So, maybe that's why he put the door on upside down. Who knows? So we're going to speed this up. This continues. And then in March, maybe a little bit before, I'm getting a little jumbled here because, there was a lot that went on that I'm not even going to say. We could be here for hours and hours, okay? Like I said, my friend is staying at my place now when he's got his own home to go to, but he's staying away because of all the issues. And now, basically, his home is a drug home, all right? And he figured, they're like, well, we're going to be out in spring. We promise we're going to be out. As soon as spring hits, we will be gone. We promise, Just give us until spring. Now, me, I would be telling him, out. The neighbors are like, my friend was in contact with the neighbors, and they're like, vehicles are coming in here, constantly. What does that say? Okay, to me, yeah. And I kept telling my friend, you got to do something because, something's not right going on in that house. So, anyways, he gets a call from them, right? They can't be around when it comes time to pay to make sure the utilities are paid. Come on, $350 a month. That only covers, a few utilities. But they call and say that they have no water. They have no water. There's something wrong with the water. Now, I have to say that back last year or last fall or whatever, the central air went out as well. Now, you can't really say if the female in the house, if it was her fault or, the unit could have been old and just gave out. But she kept putting the temp down in the 60s. All right? And we know that if you keep doing that, it can freeze up the unit. And every time my friend would go over there, the central air would be down, the temp would be down in the 60s. And he would put it back up to 72. But she would keep doing that. And I told him, put a lock on the thermostat, and he just wouldn't do it. So the central air went out, and it was like in the fall, so he's like, I'm not going to mess with it until next year. So anyways, the central air went out. And so they called and said they had no water. So when he went over there, now granted, I told you that this other gentleman was supposed to be doing things, and he was told if things went, wrong or whatever, you're supposed to check stuff out. You're supposed to be doing stuff around the house, to home improvement, doing stuff. He didn't do nothing. Absolutely nothing. Okay? He didn't hold up to his part of the deal at all. But my friend went over there, and the water, he was thinking that it was the bladder tank. That part or whatever it is in the breezeway. He couldn't even get up to where he needed to go, to that area. This gentleman had his woodwork projects, dressers and stuff up against it, and you can't move it. One person can't move it. This stuff is heavy. It is very heavy. And he told him, you need to move this stuff, man. You need to help me move it. You need to move it, whatever, so I can get to it. The jerk would not do it. He would not help him. He wouldn't do it. He's like, well, you know what? I'm not doing nothing about it then. I can't check it out. I don't know if it's the bladder. It could be something electrical. It could, I don't know. And he goes, and you guys aren't paying me, to pay the utilities. I'm having to pay your utilities. Um, and now you ain't got no water and you won't move the stuff. You won't help me move it. How am I supposed to check this? Well, the guy got nasty with him and threatened him. And so my friend left. He's like, there's nothing I can do about it. If you're not going to move your shit, then, there's nothing I can do about it. Go without water, I guess. And so he left. And he went back over there. And I'm trying to remember how this all went. So you just have to bear with me here. He went back over there to get mail. And he went upstairs to get something out of his own bedroom. Like I said, he kept it locked up. And the gentleman was there, okay? They acted like they didn't give a shit if they didn't have water, right? And they were getting ready to, there was a disconnect for the electric. And my friend told him, you guys, you're already, at that point in time, there were 3 months behind on paying anything. He's like, this was in, I think, March, if I'm not mistaken. He's like, guys, you have to pay. You have to pay because I'm not going to pay your utilities. I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm not going to do it. If they shut it off, they shut it off. I have a place to stay right now. And he goes, and, I'm thinking about selling this home. It needs some updates. It's too big for me anyways. I don't need a 4-bedroom house. So, I told you guys that you had until spring. It's spring. I'm going to give you guys 30 days, notice to get out. And the guy threatened to kick his ass. And he's like, I'm not giving you another dime. You're not getting another dime. We are not paying. And my friend said, well, you haven't been paying anyways. So what's the difference? I haven't been in this home for almost the entire time that you've been here. So anyways, you got 30 days. You need to get out. And at this time, the gentleman still didn't move anything from that water, whatever it was in the breezeway that he needed to get to. So he still couldn't check on that. And he's like, the girlfriend's like, I really want to take a shower and I can't take a shower. And my friend's like, well, that needs to be moved for me to even check it. I can't check it. I can't do anything. And then you guys are not going to pay and I have to pay. I'm going to have to keep the utilities on here or they're going to disconnect it. So I'm going to have to pay for your guys' utilities and this isn't right. You guys are living here for free now. And I'm not racking up these utility bills. You guys are. And you're grown-ass adults. Okay? I mean, they are close to my age. So they're in their late 40s. So this was in March. And this man threatened him again. So at this point in time, when he threatened him, he gave him the 30 days. And we thought that they would go ahead and get out in 30 days because, or sooner, because now they don't have any water. And they're not doing anything to move that stuff so that, he could check out the water. And at this point, after being threatened again and a gun was pulled out, they did not show the, the jerk didn't point the gun at my friend, but it was a scare tactic. He pulled the gun out and he goes to his girlfriend, let's go out back and let me show you how to shoot. Okay? Mind you, he's a convicted, they both are convicted felons. Found out later she had a meth charge on her as well, back a few years back. So, anyways, the gun should have never been in the home. I'm sure it's not a legal gun, of course. So, waited for the 30 days. So now we're into April, right? They still wouldn't move out. So he goes back over there, my friend, he goes back over there, and he's like, guys, I gave you the 30 days, you know, why aren't you gone? You haven't had any water. The stuff still isn't moved away from where he needed it to be moved from. The house is starting to stink a little bit now. Okay, starting to stink a little bit. And he is threatened again, okay, with bodily harm. That he was going to get his teeth knocked down his throat and this and that. And that's when he said, I had enough. I had enough. So he goes and he files a protective order against the jerk, my friend did. So when he went and filed this protective order, they messed up. They messed up big time on this protective order. And what they did is they made it a stalking protective order. Okay, the jerk never stalked my friend. Okay, and they said that they found that the quote stalker, the jerk, was very dangerous, and that the protective order should be granted. And but the magistrate, I mean, she looked like she was just out of high school. Seriously, she really did. She had it listed, or she was thinking that my friend, she was assuming that he rented them out the whole house, and that he had another resident, that he had another house, that he was their landlord. You know, I guess he was their landlord to a point, but that he rented them out this house, and he lived elsewhere. He kind of was, but he was staying here because he was threatened. He felt uncomfortable in his home, but that's not what he told her. He told her that he rented them a room. They were supposed to be his roommates because they had nowhere to go. And he told her the story, but it didn't stick in her head. Okay? And with the paperwork as well, they had my friend's name spelled wrong. They had it that he was a female. And then they had a thing about the Brady law on there. Is anybody exempt from the Brady? And they had it marked no. And I caught that. I'm like, it should be yes, because he's a felon. So he shouldn't have any guns, and he has guns in the home. So I'm like, this paperwork isn't right, number one. And it did say right on the paperwork as well that the jerk is not allowed to be at the residence of the, you're going to hear my stomach growl. I'm really hungry. He is not allowed to be at the residence or around the residence of the petitioner, which would be my friend. So we thought that would get him out while we start, you know, eviction paperwork, and that my friend could go back to his home and get that water fixed and all that good stuff, right? Now, I did something a little sneaky. Before all this went down, I just had a feeling something was going to, I just had a feeling these people were going to try something. They were going to do something. The last time that I was over there, and I think this was right before the water incident, right before March, like maybe February, end of February, I was taking pictures. I mean, I had pictures of the home beforehand because we had a birthday party over there for my friend. So I had pictures of the outside and inside because I take a lot of pictures, okay? I do. I am a picture taker. My friends, they always say, we don't have to worry about taking pictures because, I'm not going to say my name, we can count on her to take the pictures. So I had pictures of what the house looked like before they moved in, and it's, you know, got the timestamp on them. And I have a lot of pictures. Back in February, I went around taking pictures, and they must have been so zoned, so out of it, they didn't even know that I was taking pictures. I took pictures of the garage, and it didn't look bad. It didn't look bad at all. Still looked, you know, she did pretty good at keeping the house clean. I took pictures of the living room. I didn't go in their bedroom, of course. I took pictures of the bathroom. I was taking pictures with my phone. All right. I just had a feeling something was going to go on. Okay. So I have those pictures. So anyways, this paperwork was wrong. We had to do an amendment on the paperwork. So we did that. And the only thing they amended, and we put on there that, you know, that there's guns in the house. This is a convicted felon. At this point in time, we were in contact with a sheriff, that very nice guy that kept calling us, and he really wanted to get a hold of this guy for some reason. This guy did not, the jerk, did not have any warrants out for him. He was like 20 grand back in child support, but I think his child is an adult, so there was nothing really active on it, kind of pending, but they weren't really going after him. I don't know if it's because his child was an adult or the mother's not pursuing it. Not sure. But he also had a lot of open civil cases for evictions that we found out. Okay. But there was no warrants out for him. But when this officer that we spoke with looked at his case file or whatever, he really wanted to get him on, you know, driving, because this guy is driving around on not only expired plates with a vehicle that belongs to his girlfriend's son, but he's driving around with a lifetime suspension. And the girlfriend, I think I might have already said it, she doesn't have a driver's license either. So, like he told us, though, you know, he goes by the house quite often, but he's got to catch him driving, and they just don't have the manpower. And he would do it a lot on his, you know, time off, driving by to see if the, you know, the van was there, or a lot of times when he was like coming into work, or, you know, because when he's off work, I'm not sure if they can do arrest when they're off work or not, but I'm sure they can call somebody else to come, or he can, you know, follow him or whatever, but he really wants him. And then he was having another gentleman come out to the house. And this other gentleman has an active warrant since November for a meth charge. And they really wanted him. But they couldn't stake out the house continuously. They just don't have the manpower. And they have the other gentleman's name, license plate number, and all that stuff. But it was just a mess. So anyways, back to this paperwork. They got it wrong. They ended up fixing it, but they only fixed my friend's name, and that he's a male, and they never changed where, you know, the Brady part. But even with the protective order, automatically you're not supposed to have guns when they do a protective order. That's my understanding, or a restraining order. At least I know a restraining order with domestic violence, you're not allowed to own a gun. So anyways, there was still nothing on there stating that this person had to leave the home, except it did say on there that he was not allowed to be a resident. But here's the tricky part. Both of their addresses are listed the same. Now, only one has a license that lists that address, and only one is getting mail at that address, and that's the homeowner, because the other one wasn't getting mail there because he doesn't want anybody to know where he lives, because they'll catch up with him with child support or whatever, bills, whatever. He didn't have any mail coming in there at this time. So we're going to stop right there. I'm going to do a part 2 because I won't be able to splice this video to the first one. So we're going to stop there, and we're going to talk about this paperwork and how they screwed up when the house wasn't so bad off, and how the magistrate screwed this up. So this is part 1 of my story, and we'll get to part 2.